Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. So this week we're going to be planning for 2022, but we've got a little bit of a change coming through. I have used Notion for the past 2 years to plan and organize my life and my goals. And I have always planned out and set goals using quarterly buckets because for me it was less overwhelming and it allowed me to kind of stick to the process of using Notion to track these goals and form some habits to achieve these goals. So coming into the third year of using Notion, I've decided to ramp it up to monthly goals. Now I want to preface this by saying, the quarterly bucket method really worked for me the last 2 years, and I really recommend working in quarters if goal setting is something that you've never really stuck to or don't see the point of, because removing yourself from having to check in every month and make goals which you might not necessarily achieve or make much progress toward in just the span of 1 month will really help you stay a little bit more consistent and also be able to visualize, how achieving that goal is more realistic. So on Notion, I really like to use the OKR template, which is basically like a objectives and key results template that a company would normally use. I have broken down the different headings into months, which used to be quarters, the specific goals for the month, and the measurable outcomes. So the measurable outcomes is a really important part of the goal setting process because it's these measurable outcomes that ultimately either feed directly into habits or form the habits themselves week to week. Now, even as I'm saying this out loud, I can tell how intense this sounds because, if you're tracking things every week, that means you're tracking things every day in order to achieve a goal every month. A huge thing I'm not going to do is aim for 100%. I'm going to aim just under, and this probably goes against what you've been taught or the normal thing of thinking, if you aim high, you'll fall just under and you would have aimed higher than you would have done before anyway, right? What I'm gonna go for is not putting pressure on myself to do the most. Putting that pressure on myself this year definitely caused almost a self-sabotage type of behavior, and I withdrew from this entire process for a couple months at a time. So what I'm going to do is scale it back, but also scale it in smaller chunks, which is what I'm doing with the monthly. So if you watched my previous video, you would have come across this template, which is basically the quarterly setup. And I'm just going to show you how to turn this into a monthly setup. This is not completed, so don't worry about this. I just switched it back for the purposes of this video. But what we're going to do here, so this I've already changed into months, but just rename this table into months. And then what we're going to do is rename this into months as well. And we're going to remove the filter, but also change the filter to contain 2022. Now I've already set up my months for next year, so this is what you essentially want to do. Create a new line, call it January 2022, and then add the time span, and that's it. The rest of the table is linked through relative databases that are already, set up on this template. So it's just a case of adding the separate months and changing this from quarters to months. And then at the end of that, we need to create a new view. So I've created a new one. It's a table. I'm going to call it 2022, which is what I've got here. And then that's what the new filter will be for. So the filter should have months contains 2022. And then in this new view, you'll be able to see all your months, but you can also go back and see your 2021 quarters as well. So I haven't finished doing all the time spans yet because it is a tedious process. And in the goal section, what you want to do is just again, create a new view. So this was the previous view, goals this quarter, but what I'm going to do here is create a new one called goals this month. So you would have clicked add a view, clicked table, and I've already done that. So I've got this here, goals this month. And what you want to do in this new view or this new table is set the filter. So month contains, and then you want to change it to January 2022 when that does come around. So Jan 2022. I've already obviously set these up. So what you want to do here is go new and then literally select your goals. I'll talk a little bit about this at the end of the video, but I've set only 4 goals. I say only, it's a lot for a month. A month is only 4 weeks, so do not put the pressure up at this stage. Stick to maybe 2 to 3 goals, 3 max. I don't know how I'm gonna do with 4. Let's see in the reflection bit. Yeah, you just want to set your main goals here, assign them to a month and then a category, and this measurable outcomes bit and the progress stage will update automatically. Now the best part, the measurable outcomes. So these are what feed into your habits and form your actual habits. So here you want to set your filter and you want to change the filter. So what I actually did was made a new column and named it M. What you want to do is here, go to where M contains 1/22, which is January 2022. Once you've made that filter, your table will be blank here, so don't worry about that. So basically you want to add a new measurable outcome, but here in the M column, you just want to type in whatever month you've got going on, and that's going to be filtered, so you'll only see the measurable outcomes for January 2022. And then when you actually assign it to a goal, that's what will feed into the goals up here and then total up the progress. So what I've done here, just to give you an example, I'll redo this walking goal. So I want to walk 7 to 10k steps a day. I want to do it every day in January, so it's going to be 31 is the goal. So I'm going to write that 31 in, and then I'm going to assign it to the recomp here. So I have not put emojis to my goals, which I need to do because I think they look prettier with emojis. And then that will automatically update. So for example, if we get to the 15th of January and I've done 7k steps every day, I can type in 15 and it will calculate 48%, and then that's increased the recomp progress by 24%, and then that's also increased January's progress by 6%. So it all feeds up, and the only area you really don't need to touch once you've set up the months is this month's table. Thinking about your measurable outcomes and making sure that you're not really overdoing this in terms of setting goals on a monthly basis now is just making sure that these goals are not over the top. I don't know how many more times I can say it, but even with the fact that I did goal setting on a quarterly basis at the beginning of this year, I still overdid it. I still only had 4 goals up in my goals section, and I still managed to burn myself out by the time it got to about June. And that, coupled with general, mental health dips, just resulted in not being able to make progress. So what I would do, and what I'm going to do personally, as you can see here by the Be Happier goal, is incorporate a little bit of good habit building for my mental health into my daily life. So for example, my Be Happier goal, I've associated reading and journaling every day to this goal. But these are going to form little habits that I will tick off in my daily planner, which you have seen before as well. So from Monday to Sunday, I will be putting in as a to-do list every day, read for 30 minutes, and I will aim for getting that done throughout the day. I am also a little bit of a control freak, so I need my goals and the habits that they ultimately feed into to be able to be something that I can control no matter the external circumstances that happen to me. So last year, at the end of the year, I set a goal to achieve 1,000 subscribers in Q1, which I did achieve, but it was only due to the YouTube algorithm picking me up at the tail end of the quarter. So had I set monthly goals at the end of last year, I would have failed those and then felt really crap about myself. The fact that the YouTube algorithm picked me up at that time is something that's completely out of my control, as is it picking me up again this year and my subscriber rate going up again this year. What I can control is being consistent with my uploads and maintaining my motivation for YouTube. Motivation is also something I can't control, so I need to not try and create habits around that. Being consistent, I've said it in my what not to do on YouTube video, but being consistent takes a lot of planning. And for me, I need to plan for the down days, the days that I don't want to do anything. And these will be scheduled into my diary in 2022 so that, I have that space there and I'm giving myself the space to not be productive, to not be bashing out scripts and videos and filming and editing all the time like I was at the beginning of this year. While there is no set way to set goals, to reflect, there are no right goals, there are no wrong goals. I think it's really important that you do take some time this year to sit down and reflect on the last year, what good it has brought you, what challenges it has brought you, and what are the areas you can take a little bit further next year. And you don't really need to write this down in a really fancy Notion template. Not saying that this template is fancy, I did not make it, but if you decide to journal this, if you decide to vision board this, if you decide to literally write down in your notes on your phone, create a little checklist of things that are close to you, that matter to you, that you can control. Just track them throughout the year. Make little calendar reminders. If you don't want to be checking in on pretty overwhelming template or table every month, make calendar reminders to just go back to the notes app in your phone and have a look at the little list that's close to your heart of things that you'd like to do, that you'd like to change going into 2022, because we're all human, we're all going to be constantly changing. We might as well have a little bit of awareness around it and make the changes something that we want. So with my goals for next year being all around making space for my rest, making space for downtime, and also really making sure that I take care of myself well. And I hope that results for my other goals, both professional and the ones on YouTube, will come from that, because their downfall came from me not looking after myself this year. So with that, I will leave you to reflect, reset, set some goals, and I really hope that this video helped in some way, and I will see you next week for the next video. Thanks for watching this, and I'll see you soon.